Yeah,
Good
we're
evening,
now live.
everyone. Welcome. We will just let participants enter. I will give it a few minutes, or I'll give it a few seconds actually, because we're a few minutes late. So thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the mid-month meeting of August 16th, 2021 for the city of Westmount. Typically, like every year, the mid-month August is not, we don't have a GC and it's a short public agenda tonight. So the meeting won't be very long, but we will begin with the opening of the meeting and with with my reports and any council reports. I don't have too much to update, except for you would have seen in your mailboxes a brochure called A Walk in the Park, which has some more information and is part of the public consultation and the outreach that we're doing on Westmount Park and the restoration of Westmount Park. So we would just encourage you to fill it out. I know Westmount Park is near and dear to everyone's heart. So fill it out, share your ideas. We are anxiously awaiting to hear all the feedback. And we read every single one, so I can assure you of that. And there has been some misinformation going on that the contract is done and that the plan is set and it's a done deal. That is absolutely not the truth. We are very much still in the consultation phase. So I just we hope to get a lot of feedback on that. And we are still waiting for a possible date for a pop-up vaccine center in Westmount. And if and when that happens, we will make sure it is all over our social media and our Westmount page. And I think that is all the updates I have for tonight. And Councillor Gallery, I think, has a brief update.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I have a very brief update, and it's quite startling to think that I'm doing a fall announcement. So the Westmount Sports and Rec booklet is ready for fall registration. So the registration opens Tuesday, August 24th. As usual, go to the Westmount website, westmount.org, and registration online, and the booklet will be found there with all our activities for youth and adults. And as usual, there's lots of variety. It's a balanced approach to, we're still in the pandemic and the health protocols, but there's lots going on. So please check it out and get ready for the fall. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I know that sadly the pool will be closing in the next couple of weeks in September. So I just want to thank the lifeguards and everybody who made the pool season a huge success again this year. As well as camp. This is the last week of day camp for the city of Westmount, and they too have worked really hard and under difficult circumstances sometimes with all the rules of COVID. So I think that is it for updates tonight. If anyone would like to ask a question, you can do so in the chat. You can do so sort of live by voice in the chat, right, Mr. Brownstein? That's how we'll do it. It's not in the chat. It's
Raising hands.
Raising hands again. Yeah. So you raise your hand. So you can do that in the first question period or the second question period. But we also have questions that have been submitted as well. So I will hand that over to our city clerk, and he will read out the questions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we'll start with those we received today by email, or rather by our online form. So our first is from Dennis Bureau, and his question is, a major impediment to safe accessibility within Westmount is the sad state of many of our sidewalks and paths, even on major streets. It's stressful at best and dangerous at worst for persons with disabilities or even fully mobile seniors worrying about a potential life-altering fall. The city appears to have no plan in place to systematically review each street and fix obvious deficiencies or its standards are lax. Repairs often are undertaken only after media reports of serious falls or persistent pressure from residents. Victoria Avenue is a recent case in point. This problem demands action. Pedestrian safety would have been a perfect fit for the city's 2021 accessibility action plan just released. It's completely missing. Why?
Thank you, Mr. Bureau, for your question. Councillor Breshke, as you are aware, manages this file, but I do have a little bit of an update on it. I would agree with you that pedestrian safety is at the forefront of is a serious issue in the city. And I wouldn't say that I'm not sure what your wording was exactly, was that we don't make it a priority at all. It will be very much part of the Westmount Advisory and Accessibility Committee's report, which will be tabled soon. And Councillor Breshke will be able to share more details of that in the coming weeks. But we do, Public Works, we don't need a media report to know that there's an issue with the sidewalk. Certainly, if someone reports it to us or if our Public Works team sees it, we address it as quickly as we can. We also work with Contactivity's Social Action Committee. And if they give us feedback as well on any issues that they may have or that they have seen. And this is a priority for engineering, but is it a perfect system? No, there's obviously always more work to be done on this. And that's going to be one of the great things in the direction out of the Westmount Advisory Action Committee that's coming in a couple of weeks. And I know that the situation on Victoria has been fixed. It was fixed a couple of weeks ago. So I would leave it at that. And if you have any more questions or concerns, you can certainly let us know. But it's also, just to add about the park, that is one of the major issues in the park, is the state of the pathways and the accessibility issue in the park. And that's something that we're trying to address, because we think that whatever your mobility is, you should be able to access every part of Westmount Park, and you currently cannot do that because of the steps. So that is certainly an issue that we want to address. So thank you for your very, very important question. Next question.
Our next question is from John Fretz. He submitted 3 questions. It's at the discretion of the chair to allow 3 questions in circumstances.
Yes, Mr. Fretz can ask 3 questions. I will allow it because I think that is the last of the submitted questions, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. What happened to the pool feasibility study? Is it completed?
It is not yet completed or finalized, and it is ongoing. So that is for the pool feasibility study. Next part of his question.
I noticed the pavement on Stainer Street looks like it is higher grade, like it might have latex additives. Are we using better asphalt, as in fact are being used with pothole repairs? Councillor Cutler, as Commissioner of Infrastructure Innovation, have you made a study of paving repairs in the almost 8 years you have been on council? Are our roads lasting as long as before, less long, or as long?
That one I can certainly, so in terms of, Councillor Cutler can answer after if he would like, but in terms of Stainer, I did ask our engineering team just quickly before this meeting about what was used on that street, and that's what he's referring to, right, Mr. Brownstein, in that second part of his question? Yes.
Seems so.
So there were 2 different asphalt mixtures that were used on Stainer to overlay the concrete road base. The base layer is 50 millimeters thick, and there's a lot of details here, so bear with me. It's 50 millimeters thick and includes Kevlar fibers to increase the load-bearing capacity. The top overlay is 40 millimeters thick of type EG-1064H-28, and I can tell you our engineering team is nothing but thorough. And this conforms to the MTQ guidelines, and it is not the same asphalt used for pothole repairs, as it is unavailable in small quantities and is not suitable for local repairs. So I think that addresses most of your question. What's his next question, Mr. Brownstein?
Municipalities are edging sidewalks at intersections with granite. Is this cost effective? It is certainly more attractive. Thanks, John Fretz.
Thank you for that question. And yes, a more in-depth review is required. Granite curbs were used with success on Green Avenue and on Prince Albert at Sherbrooke, the south side for Prince Albert Square. The availability, delivery delay, installation requirements, road geometry are just a few of the factors that need to be evaluated in this situation. But yes, that is something that they will continue to evaluate. I think that is it for Mr. Fretz's questions. Hopefully I've answered them as best I can.
And that's it for our submitted questions from today. I see no hands raised yet.
I see that Mr. Bureau has added an additional question in here, though, in the chat. The situation on Victoria is not fixed. Sections were repaired, but others very near left completely untouched, close to Sherbrooke, for example, and also down by the Chateau Westmount. Why? That is something that Mr. Hakeem, our new Director General, is on the call here, and we will have him look into that and get back to you with an update and certainly repair anything that needs to be fixed.
Okay, so nothing in our
That
chat
it?
or hands raised. So that concludes our question period.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who submitted questions. So now we will start with the agenda, which is a shorter agenda than certainly was at the beginning of the month. So I will start with Councillor Lallam with the adoption of the agenda, l'adoption de l'ordre du jour, le conseiller Lallam.
Je propose que l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire de conseil de le 16 août 2021 soit adopté.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que j'ai un appuyeur pour ça? Another second. Madame Councillor Bostock, all in favor? Thank you. Item number 5, numéro 5, approbation du procès verbal encore, conseiller Lallam.
Je propose que le procès verbal de la séance ordinaire de conseil tenue le 2 août 2021 soit approuvé.
Merci beaucoup. Un appuyeur pour ça. Monsieur Chamy, conseiller Chamy, tout en faveur. Everyone in favor, thank you. Item number 6, numéro 6, rapport au conseil. Il n'y a aucune correspondance est déposée. 6.2, conseiller Lallam.
Minutes of the General Committee Council.
Thank you, are tabled.
All tabled.
Thank you, and available on the city's website. Item 6.3, tabling of minutes of correction. In accordance with section 92.1 of the Cities and Towns Act, the city clerk tables the minutes of correction for resolution number 2021-07-175, as well as a copy of the amended document. Item number 7 is Councillor Cutler, modification of a contract sewer inspection and cleaning, PUB-2021-034.
Madam Mayor, I move that the contract award to TechVac Environnement Inc. for the sewer inspection and cleaning resolution number 2021-05-124 and 2021-08-189 be further modified and increased to a maximum amount of $211,071.54, including taxes, and that an additional expenditure be authorized in the amount of $5,748.75, including taxes for the sewer inspection and cleaning with TechVac Environnement Inc. and to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making files number 2021-1263, 2021-1320, and 2021-1336.
Thank you, Councillor Cutler. A seconder on this will be Councillor Chamy. Any further comments on it?
So right now they're doing sewer inspections and cleaning. It's part of the original contract. There was a blockage that was located, and it cost us about $5,000 to clear it. There was sort of an emergency situation, but thankfully we're able to get in front of this, and we identify. It's part of the reason why we do these inspections, is that this was identified and cleaned before it becomes an issue and gets backed up or whatever.
Perfect. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, tariff remuneration of election staff. Councillor Chamy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Whereas a municipal general election will be held on November 7th, 2021, whereas in accordance with Section 88 of an act respecting elections and referendums in municipalities, CQLR Chapter E 2.2, every election officer is entitled to receive remuneration or an expense allowance from the municipality for the duties he or she performs. The council of the municipality may establish a tariff of such remuneration or allowances. And finally, whereas the city clerk, as the returning officer, will have to hire between 160 and 200 people as election officers, I move, Madam Mayor, that the attached tariff of remuneration or allowance be established for the election officers for the duties they must perform in the course of an election or a referendum.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Bostock. Any further comments?
Straightforward.
Standard preparation for the municipal election. And as we all know now, there's a federal election in September prior to the municipal one. So all in favor? Carried. Item number 9, Councillor Peart, adoption bylaw 1575 to establish a planning advisory committee. Oh, sorry, the city clerk to begin.
I'll start this one off. So, j'aimerais signaler que toutes les formalités requises pour la dispense de lecture de ce règlement ont été respectées et que des copies du règlement ont été remises à tous les membres du conseil et mises à la disposition du public. L'objet de ce règlement est de remplacer le règlement 1320 visant à constituer un comité consultatif d'urbanisme par un nouveau règlement établissant sur de nouvelles bases la composition, les rôles et les responsabilités du comité, ainsi que certaines règles de fonctionnement. Modification. J'aimerais signaler que des modifications ont été apportées au projet de règlement. Le paragraphe 2 de l'article 3 a été modifié pour supprimer l'exigence selon laquelle les membres doivent être des membres actifs de leur ordre professionnel respectif. De plus, l'exigence d'être membre d'un ordre professionnel ne s'appliquera pas aux membres issus d'une discipline connexe. L'article 5 a été modifié pour élargir le champ des membres qui peuvent agir en tant que président du comité. L'article 13 a été modifié pour permettre uniquement au secrétaire d'ajouter une demande à l'ordre du jour. Le deuxième alinéa de l'article 21 a été modifié afin de préciser qu'il s'applique nonobstant l'article 3 et afin de préciser les mesures transitoires. L'article 22 a été modifié pour indiquer que le règlement entrera en vigueur le 9 septembre 2021. Une copie de ces modifications est mise à la disposition du public.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que je peux avoir la déclaration de la part de chaque membre du conseil présent à la fait qu'il ou elle a lu le règlement et que la lecture en est dispensée?
Declared.
Declared. Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that bylaw number 1575 entitled Bylaw to Establish a Planning Advisory Committee be adopted.
Thank you very much. And the seconder will be Councillor Lulham. Councillor Peart, do you have any further comments on this? Our urban planning department has been hard at work.
That's right. And as Maitre Brownstein has mentioned, we made some revisions to fine tune subsequent to some internal comments and some comments that we received from the outside. So I think it's a refined and improved version of what was originally submitted.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. And the final item is, again, Councillor Peart, aménagement urbain, approbation des plans d'implémentation et d'intégration architecturale. Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I think you
move
missed the
that-
declaration, Mayor Smith,
Whoops, you are right.
Hang on.
at the very bottom.
I do not have. Oh, yes, sorry. Déclaration que le règlement numéro 1575 intitulé Règlement constituant un comité consultatif urbanisme ayant été adopté, il est ordonné que les avis soient donnés conformément à la loi. Is that it, Maitre Brownstein, for that item? Okay.
thank you.
And item number 10, again, Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that according to the recommendations made by the Planning Advisory Committee at its meeting held on August 4th of 2020 and August 2nd and August 9th of 2021, the conditions for the issuance of the building permit applications and cadastral operation applications appearing on the attached list, reviewed under bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, be approved.
Thank you very much. A seconder will be Councillor Lulham, I'm sure. All in favor? Carried. And that brings us to the end of our agenda tonight. Do we have any other questions that were submitted, Mr. Brownstein? I don't see any that have come in the Q&A. No? Okay, so on that note, we will adjourn the meeting and wish everyone a happy end of summer in the final weeks of August, and we will see you at the September Council meeting. Thanks very much, everyone.